Welcome, elite entrepreneurs and empire builders. Man, we're back. I'm excited today to introduce to you this brand that is kind of becoming a titan, a mogul in the tech-based, mobile-based franchise space, which really is pretty rare. But they're doing an incredible job with it. I'm so pumped. Before we get to that, wanted to give just a few updates. Really, I want to let you know I'm going to be interviewing just a handful of more franchisors, a few brands inside here once a week through April. After that, I'm actually going to start bringing you some different franchisees and clients that I've worked with to share some success stories and kind of just kind of see, like, here's what people pursuing franchising, here's what they're experiencing, here's and through this brand that they're looking at. And so I'm real excited to kind of dive in and introduce you to some people you've probably never heard of, but they're absolutely killing it in business in a number of different ways, from different backgrounds. So it's gonna be a fun summer. I'm excited about that, but we still have a handful more brands too, but that's beside the point. Today we are focusing on Send Me a Pro. That has a pretty incredible story. Now, this interview today is completely exclusive to you guys inside the group for now. Now, we talk about this regularly. I blast this out to you. Like, you have access to this. You're the only ones in the world who have access to this interview for at least a week. Right. And then after that, I post this to YouTube. I blast it out to a number of different people. Like, this goes live. But I want to hold this as kind of special content exclusive to you guys inside the group, because you're elite. You guys build empires. You're looking for brands that are unique. And that's what Send Me a Pro is. This is, if you're looking for something that has, proprietary technology that is uses based off of a mobile app, if you're looking for something that is highly scalable, infinitely scalable, that offers multiple different kinds of services, if you're looking for something that, you don't have to, you're not tied down to a physical location or anything like that. You have just about as little overhead as you can possibly have when you're owning a franchise or a business. This is literally the one for you today. So that's why I'm so pumped to introduce you to the CEO of and co-founder of Send Me a Pro. This brand has been ranked by Entrepreneur Magazine as one of the fastest growing franchises just as of last year. They've also been recognized by PR Newswire, the Franchise Journal, Yahoo, Thrive Global, Washington Business Journal, the Washingtonian, TechCrunch, Collision, MSNBC, and so many more. They got 15 plus years of business experience. They're well over 100 locations now, and in 4 plus different countries. Like, the growth that they have experienced is incredible. I'm so pumped to bring you Send Me a Pro. So without further ado, let's get started today.
Send Me a Pro is a tech franchise business that you can own and operate in your local market that is ranked by Entrepreneur Magazine as one of the fastest growing franchises. It's like Uber for in-home services. Everything from fitness and sports trainers, pet care providers, tutors, music instructors, childcare providers, and much more. Historically speaking, every category is a standalone franchise business model. No one has ever aggregated multiple services with an Uber-like experience under one franchise until now. Starting your Send Me a Pro franchise is so easy because it doesn't need a physical location, expensive equipment, or any construction, saving you the headache that comes with other franchises. With proprietary technology, low startup costs, working from home, and passive ownership options, Send Me a Pro gives you the lifestyle that you have been looking for. Schedule your call today to learn more about Send Me a Pro franchise and how we are disrupting the franchise industry.
Barry, welcome to the Facebook group for elite entrepreneurs, my man. I'm so excited to have you on today.
Yeah, I know. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, good. Well, good. I'm glad, man. We were actually scheduled about a month ago. Some things came up, weren't able to make it happen, but we're able to get it in today. And I couldn't be more excited because this is like 4 people who kind of consider themselves or identify as elite entrepreneurs, right?
Yeah.
Which is another class of investors and business owners. And this is a brand that literally fits that purview. And so I could not be more excited to put this in front of them, have them share a little bit of your story. So let's just begin there. Can you just introduce, I'm going to have you introduce yourself, share a little bit about your story, and then kind of how we got to Send Me a Pro today.
Yeah, no, for sure. So it actually all started back in 2007, where I worked at a big box gym and I was a trainer.
Mhm.
And a lot of my clients would always cancel on me. They would not show up. They would cancel
Yep.
the last second. And I wanted to get to the bottom of why are you canceling? And, they're like, oh, my kids got sick, traffic, work, whatever it may
Right.
be. Then I told my clients, well, what if I came to you? And I said, Bear, if you came to me, that would be a game changer. I was like,
Yeah.
okay, I'll come to you. No problem. And long story short, I started going to all my clients' homes and trained them at their home, their apartment complex, outdoor gym.
How
And
did the big box gym feel about that?
well, at
Did they
first,
know? Did they care?
yeah, they didn't care at first because I was still using their sessions that
Okay.
they were in the gym. I went to their home just to kind of make the client happy.
Yeah.
I did that for a while, and then that really just took off and went viral. I couldn't keep up with the demand. I was fully booked. I had all these other trainers, and then now I start to match trainers and clients together to go to people's homes. And then at the same time, my brother, who was doing his MBA in Kellogg's in Northwestern, and he specialized in entrepreneurship. He saw the traction I was getting, and then we really saw a big opportunity. If you could really make exercise convenience, then there's a big window of an underserved market there. So we started a concierge service for personal training and like fitness professionals, and we ran that for a decade. So if I want a personal trainer, I want a tennis coach, I want a yoga instructor to come to me at times and locations for you. We ran that for a decade. And in that decade, we learned a lot. We learned that our clients, the value of convenience is huge.
Yeah, right. I mean, that's the world we live in, right? I mean, that's
Yeah.
why companies like Amazon have blown up, is because they can bring it to your doorstep. That's amazing.
Exactly. And then we also learned a lot because once you get the client and they like and trust you,
Yep.
then all of a sudden our clients start to ask us, hey, do you know a handyman? Do you know a tutor? Do you know a music instructor? Like, no, we don't, but we kept on hearing that over the years. And we realized once you get the client to like and trust you, they're 75% likely to use you for any other services that you may have.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And that's where we realized the bigger opportunity, and that's how Send Me a Pro was born, was where now service like the homeowner in a very simple way for all their needs. If you're looking for a tutor, looking for a personal trainer, looking for a handyman, and really be that concierge service for the homeowner, saving them the time and the hassles and the haggling and all the headaches that goes into searching and trying to find a good pro. It's really owning that relationship with the homeowner and then being that voice to really connect them with local providers. And that's when in 2020, we decided to now start to franchise Send Me a Trainer. We start off as Send Me a Trainer. And then in the past about year or so, we evolved Send Me a Trainer franchise model into Send Me a Pro, where now can expand and add more services.
So good. So all of your franchisees that you had under the Send Me a Trainer name, and did they just also switch? Like the whole company now is just named Send Me a Pro in every location?
Yeah. So the majority are evolving to Send Me a Pro. There are a few that are just going to stay with Send Me a Trainer because they're more fitness enthusiasts. Like maybe they're a personal trainer.
That's their niche.
That's their niche. Right. But now Send Me a Pro it's more of a opportunity to now have a portfolio of services under one brand.
Yeah, it's a one-stop shop for any kind of need or one individual could have. Like if you got multiple kids, you got someone who needs music lessons, and you got someone who needs to get the lawn taken care of, or you got, and you still have to work out at the end of the day. Like you can do all that just from one app. Time. So it's truly an incredible idea. I can't believe it's not a thing. Like it hasn't been a thing before. And so, man, props to you, man. This is exciting. I'm excited to see this continue to grow too. So share with us then, how do you guys measure whether or not you guys are being successful as a franchise?
Yeah, we actually got ranked as one of the fastest growing franchises, and we went internationally within our first 5 franchises. Was an international deal in Dubai. Most franchise concepts don't even go international until like 3-4 years if they're lucky.
Right.
right? Just to show you the early virality of, our traction of, we have over 120 locations in the US. We're in Dubai, we're in Canada,
Wow.
we're in Abu Dhabi, we're entering Saudi Arabia now.
Holy
We're,
smokes,
in the
that's crazy. Yeah,
UK.
that's like a long-term goal for
Yeah.
most franchisors. Like that's like a pipe dream. Like, wait, maybe sometime down the road we'll get to
Yeah.
international.
Yes, exactly. And we've done that just within, 2 years or less is that type of growth. And when you see that type of growth, that's when you know the next unicorn of franchising, a brand that's really being developed and scaling at a rapid rate.
Yeah. Yeah. Worldwide, man. That's incredible. So yeah, if you're all over the world, then what kind of owners are you looking for? Just anyone who's got enough money and likes tech? Or like what kind of owners in general are you looking for?
Yeah, we have a lot of different owners, people that are in career transition, right? They want to leave their job. Maybe they hate their job. They're fatigued.
Right.
They're burnt out. They want to now shift to something different. We have some people that love their job and they just want to make more money on the side. They want to now, add more revenue to their income. We have a lot
So
of
this
those.
can be semi-absentee then too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome.
Yep. We have just investors. We have some people that worth over $10 million worth, and they buy 2-3 franchise brands a year, right? And they just want to add to their portfolio of franchise concepts. We have those people, and everything else in between.
Yeah, which fits perfectly with this group. That we have we have several of those inside this group they bring on multiple businesses and just looking for something that they can scale. And that's exactly what Send Me a Pro is. So that's exciting. What does that process then look like for those owners to come into owning a Send Me a Pro franchise? What does that process look like?
So the discovery process is typically about 3 to 4 weeks of just learning of our brands, getting to know us a little bit better and us getting to know them. Ultimately, just making sure it's a good fit. Like I always say, we don't sell franchises, we award franchises to people who we believe in as well. So we go through a discovery process, and once they've been awarded, then it's about a 4 to 8 week of onboarding and training and getting ready for your launch. And that's where you're going to onboard your providers, getting your marketing material ready, and then start to go live.
Yeah, that's fascinating. So really only 3 to 4 weeks of just kind of that mutual evaluation process. That's great. Sometimes it takes brands like 3-4 months to do that.
Yeah.
And then it's like, whether you want this or not. And then once you're ready to go, 4 weeks hard, let's train, let's get you prepared for launch. That's exciting stuff. So that's good. Tell us about the investment itself. For single unit operators, and you mentioned you could be semi-absentee or even, other models you have. Can you talk us a little bit about what the investment cost will look like?
Yeah. So it starts at around total investment, $50K. The breakdown of the $50K is the franchise fee is $35,000. That's for a population up to 50,000 people. And then the remaining $15,000, that's going to be your working capital to fund the business in the early months. For your Facebook ads, your marketing, your flyers, your brochures, things like that. And then as far as the franchise fee for the territory, that's also an exercise where we look at, based off the landscape, a radius, we calculate the population within the territory, and then that would tell us the valuation for that particular territory. So in a place like New York City, you could get 50,000 people like in one block. Right. But we wouldn't just award one block to someone in New York City. We would look at what has a natural cluster, what's a natural border that makes sense, a boundary that makes sense for one person to own and operate. And then we would calculate the population within that radius, and that would tell us the valuation for that specific location. So each location may have different franchise fees, just depending on the actual population, the density as well. So it's an exercise that will go with you. And let's say someone's keen on, I just want one territory, and we'll find an area that is suited for one territory that makes sense for that particular investor. At the moment, the average is about 3 territories is what people are investing in. And the way to think about it is the more territory you acquire, the more earning potential you're going to have. So depending on the appetite of the investor, right, will justify how much territory to start with. And during the discovery process, we give them good insights of what to look for, how to evaluate this, and what is a good appropriate territory to start off with.
Yeah, well, you guys already have quite a bit of experience with locations already being in like Dubai, Abu Dhabi. breaking out what those massive cities are gonna look like or require as far as territory goes. So that's cool. That's good. Yeah. And then is it different for I'm sure it's different for the area developer, like, and that'll kind of depend on, like, do you currently have any area developers, or is that something that you're looking to bring on?
Yeah, we actually just awarded, just in the past several weeks, a couple area developers. And an area developers almost become like a mini franchisor, like kind of like what we do on a smaller scale, where you now have the rights for a larger area, right? And
Like
then
for you
now
guys, would it be like a whole state?
it can be, right?
Okay.
Depending on that investor, right?
Right.
So it could be an area developer that, typically we have a program now where for the price of 3 territories, you get 10 territories.
Oh,
Right.
wow.
And in that, you can operate some of the territories and you could subsell some of the territories as well. And that just gives a lot of the area reps another revenue source to now monetize on the business model, is to now start subselling in a larger, or they can have an option to run it themselves if they choose to.
And then I want to say that again. Right now, you can get 10 territories for the price of 3.
Yes.
Wow, incredible. Awesome. I
Yeah.
just threw that in the chat too. So
Yeah.
that's great, man. I love that. Love that deal. Can you share with us a little bit then? Like, so someone like, I love this concept. Want to be something in the tech space, mobile app space, one-stop shop. I love everything about this, infinitely scalable. But what about, like, what does support look like for a franchisee? Every franchise is different. So what's the support through SendMePro look like for your current owners?
Yeah, that's support, something we take a lot of pride in because it's important. Support is, you want your franchisees to be successful, and that's important. So we actually have a few things that we do. Number one, you get a business coach. You get a business coach that's dedicated to you to make sure you're hitting your metrics, have good comprehension, you're executing, you're setting your goals, you have good, clear understanding of what needs to happen.
Yep.
In addition to your business coach who you meet weekly with, you're going to have access to an online academy where every aspect of the business is laid out as a module with the video and downloadables. Right. So you can always go back into the academy, watch the videos again, go through the training, get some insights, and continue to have access to that. So the combination between the business coach and the online academy, we're really holding our franchisees accountable, giving them the support, the insights to really scale.
Yeah, right. To be able to have all that stuff on demand, on hand, whenever you need it, pretty great. Especially for a tech company, it's kind of a need, right? It's kind of a necessity. So
yeah,
that's great, man. What about, like, current franchisees you have? You mentioned you have well over 100 now and continuing to grow. Do you have any, like, I'm sure you have some kind of success story, or, like, I love to hear those kinds of stories of owners that are living the dream. We always have thoughts of, like, people get into business investments and ownerships thinking, like, this is going to someday allow me to do this and live this way, and it's going to take me to raise my life quality to this level. And so, what about for you guys? Do you have any incredible success stories?
Absolutely. Yeah. We have a lot of great franchise owners that are just great people. And it's kind of like you create like-minded people, and that's where, it's almost, I call it like a tribe. Like, this is a tribe of like-minded people who are very ambitious to now evolve themselves in life in general.
Yeah.
Right. So a lot of our, we're seeing franchisees are telling us all the time they have more time with their kids. They're traveling more. They're just, they're not in that everyday rut, right? They're in an everyday hustle. And you'd be surprised on how important it is more than ever to people to be in their kids' soccer games.
Yeah.
Right.
Truth.
Right. And to be able to be present with their kids, go to this back to school night, go to the activities that they want to do versus being handcuffed to 9 to 5 and just trying to live that life. So a lot of our franchisees are having that lifestyle that they've been looking for. And I think in general, that's why people learn and they lean towards franchising and the right business model that gives them that freedom.
Yeah.
And when we built this franchise, we built this for the modern entrepreneur. And, I'm sure, you look at a lot of these other franchises, their systems and processes are outdated on how they're being operated oftentimes. And that's when we saw, okay, well, what is business ownership going to look like for the next decade, for this next generation? What does that look like? It's going to be high-tech automation and where the owners can focus on high-level things and not the day-to-day tedious tasks.
Yeah.
Those days are gone with.
Right.
And that's where we say, when we built this for a franchisee to buy into this, we want to make sure, hey, what is it going to be suited for that, for the modern entrepreneur?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Technology, phones, apps, they're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
And so if you can invest into a business, build a business, based on that, like obviously you're already set up for success. So that's so great. At the end of the day, though, it comes down to, will this work? What kind of return will I see on this investment? So can you speak into that a little bit? Like what kind of what might an ROI look like for this investment? Although this is a incredible barrier of entry to get into for this brand, whether it's a single unit or even your air developer model, it's more than reasonable. Holy smokes! So talk to us about like what might that return kind of look like?
Yeah. So this is a very high cash flow business. And the reason it is because you're not buying one franchise. You're buying a portfolio of what normally are franchise services.
Right.
Like, think about it. I could show you house cleaning franchises. I could show you a tutoring franchise. I could show you, handyman franchise. The list just goes on.
Yep.
So people ask me all the time, well, Barry, what if I launch a dog walking and it doesn't work out? Well, thank God you didn't buy a dog walking franchise. Right?
Yeah.
So it's risk mitigation, right?
Yeah.
So you're mitigating your risks. And that's been the tailwind of our growth, is because we have people that were this close about to buy, let's say, another home-based franchise for gutters or windows or whatever it may be. And then they see this and they say, hey, I can still do that.
Yep.
And I could evolve and continue to add more services.
Yeah.
And continue to service the customer all in one app and user experience. It's a no-brainer. Right.
Yeah.
So, and that's where, being able to, once you get the client that likes and trusts you, this is what we tell our franchisees. The mission is to get a client for one service where they like and trust you. Once they like and trust you for that one service, then the window of opportunity just opens up massively.
Right.
Right. And we call them, hey, by the way, how is that house clean? Oh, okay, good. By the way, we also have handyman services. We do, pool cleaning, lawn care.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that we could help you with it today? And 95% of the time I said, you know what? I do need a handyman. You know what? I am looking for a pool cleaner. Right. And that's the opportunity. And normally that would be a separate franchise.
Right.
Right. So
yeah, exactly.
Talk about risk mitigation. Right? When investors, sophisticated investors, when they invest in the deploy capital, one of their due diligence is, how do I mitigate risk?
Right. Yeah.
Right.
So
and that's really the narrative, and the tailwind is why a lot of these investors are really looking at this, is because it's, number one, this. Why do people buy franchises? Because it's less risky than a startup. 97% of startups fail.
Yep.
Right. So you buy a franchise because you get the systems, you get the, you get the insights, you get a model. It's a lot easier for you. Right. Now, taking that to a whole new level, well, rather than just buy one, get a portfolio.
Yeah. Right. It's genius. And this is such a great add-on too. So if you already own those, what a great addition to bring that on, to go, hey, let me through this, and can point people either to yours, or doesn't matter, to other franchisees, other businesses in your community as well. Like, man, the sky really is the limit for this.
Yeah. And that's where awesome. We look at a combination of two things we're doing. It's a concierge service.
Yep.
And with the technology together.
Yes.
Together. That's the key. It's not like a regular platform like Angie's List, where you have to go haggle, you have to price shop, you can never ever talk to anyone. You're going to get all these quotes. This is $100, $120, $130. You're going through all this. It's a headache. This is a simple booking process, standard rates, and top local pros. That's the value that we've created for the homeowner.
And you as the franchisee, I mean, you get to choose who you're working with too, right? So you can bring in the premier brands in your area for whatever services it might be, instead of just all of them. I mean, is am I understanding that right?
Yeah. So you could certainly partner up with local contractors and local businesses that are ready, like, especially for more complex services like roofing, gutters, where you actually need a setup. So you're like a sales and marketing engine for these small businesses in your territory to now generate leads and to get clients and they become your fulfillment partners towards your clientele.
Yeah. Yeah. That's so good. Yeah. Well, Barry, I mean, I'm bought in. You know, I love it. I love this idea. I love this concept. Love this brand. If someone's been, watching this either now or later at a later date, and they're sitting here going, I love this concept. Never seen this before. This is awesome. I want to see, but they're kind of on the fence. They're kind of still wading through, like, I don't know yet if this is the right one. What would you say if you had one shot? What would be your final pitch of like why they should consider Send Me a Pro over another brand or competitors if you have competitors in this space?
It's simple. Risk mitigation. When you're typically buying another brand, you have one, again, you have house cleaners, you have tutors, the list just goes on of all these individual franchises. Now, validation is that obviously it's, these models are working because you have all these franchise that do nearly the same thing. House cleaners, tutors, and the list just goes on. This is a platform for you to aggregate and to mitigate your risk and diversify your revenue and your risk, and gives you an upside to service the client. Once you acquire that customer that likes and trusts you, this is an opportunity to now upsell and to continue to, monetize and add new revenue versus being limited just to one service. You can add more revenue, and the ceiling is limitless at that point on how far you want to go to service that client.
Yeah. The scalability of this alone should be enough to buy in today. Like, holy smokes, sky really is the limit. It's exciting stuff. Man, if you're watching this and you're like, man, I want to hear more. I want to get connected to Barry. I want to get connected to Send Me a Pro. I want to talk about it. Then you can literally get started today. All you got to do is your first step is going to be with a qualification assessment. I'm dropping that in the chat right now for all of you to be able to click on that, go to that, fill that out, take you 5-10 minutes. Be honest with it, and we'll see if you're a good fit for them and if this is a good fit for you. And I'll get you connected literally today. And if you do that, I will also send you this massive brochure with a whole lot more information for some of the finer details. I'll send this all to you right away. Just a little bit more information about Send Me a Pro and what that might look like for you to jump in as an owner today. So get started, and I'll get you connected to Barry, and we'll get you on your journey. He said 3-4 weeks, and you can be the next franchisee with Send Me a Pro. And then you're 4 weeks away from, all your training and getting launched and getting rolling and starting to get some quick cash flow starting to come in. So it's exciting stuff. Today for you elite entrepreneurs. Get started. Barry, truly, man, I can't thank you enough for your time. I can't thank you enough for joining us today, and just sharing us your passion and your wisdom about this brand. I'm excited to see what happens with Send Me a Pro. I'm excited to see it grow. So it's truly, Barry, thank you so much, man. I appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Appreciate you.
Everyone else, we'll see you again next week. We'll see you with another franchise. Until then, have a good one.